Bow down before my psycho power.
Okay, so let me make sure my audio levels are right. I'm gonna call this person and we'll hear their ideas on Lili. And also, if you guys have questions, because this is the Lili main. This is our time to see if a Lili player is like down playing or whatever, right? So that's why I like doing this as well, because like I'm a Yoshi. You guys hear my little Yoshi hot takes all day, every day, right? But now we have other people for other characters, and let's see if they got the hot takes as well.
Well, I can't give you a specific reason why I picked up on Lily because honestly, Tekken 7 is the first Tekken that I actually decided to commit to. Like the first Tekken I played was Tekken 3. So Tekken 7 was the first one I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy this game, I'm gonna get good at it. And also before a few months before Tekken 7 came out, there's like a super high level friend that I met and he was gonna teach me the game. And the character I actually originally wanted to use was Nina, but my friend told me, nah, Nina's too hard for a beginner, so pick someone else. So I don't know how I settled on Lily. I was a Lily down player in the beginning, as we all are with our mains. Tekken 7, I pretty much ended on purple rank, so Mighty Ruler.
Okay.
And mainly, I wasn't too much caring about ranks. I just wanted to just improve myself, and that's what my friend really was emphasizing: just improve yourself. I would say the character I still struggle with the most now, it's just because of me. It's not really because the character's overpowered or anything. It's just Lars. It's just when he does all that spinning stuff, I just my brain just gets kerfuffled.
Yeah, Lars is pretty crazy, but I also feel like that's kind of how he's supposed to be. I think Lars is in a he's an interesting character, and it's hard to really like break down his gameplay because he's not highlighted enough. But I do think Lars is like he's a cool character, but he like flies under the radar.
Well, I mean, do you think he's well? Like, I know I don't want to make it about this, but you think he's like, what do you think about him in terms of like if how good or how bad he is?
I think he's kind of just right. I don't think he's like a super strong character, but I also don't think he's super weak. Now, if you talk about like tournaments, he's definitely like not a tournament viable character, but I don't think every character should be tournament viable. There's certain characters like there's characters for everyone, right? You have characters that's for pro players, you have characters for people who's just trying it out. I think Lars is a character for online and he's good in online. He can
So, in like in terms of like Lily, yesterday you said you feel that she carries people for Tekken 8, or like
Yes. This is my issues with Lily. One, I think her evasion is crazy. Her invasion is crazy. I think she doesn't risk anything for the type of movement she has. You have characters like Yoshimitsu who also has a crazy movement with the spin, but at least he gives up life. Lily doesn't give up anything and she just gains everything, steps all the way around you, but then also her movement combined with her evasion, where like even when she is standing in place, she's able to just evade and launch and do all kind of crazy stuff. Also, I think her heat in combination with like Oki is just far too powerful. The opponent, while trying to defend Lily, can't escape. Like her low heat smash is supposed to be punishable, but the moves that would be used to punish her can't reach her. So you have to use different moves, but those different moves can then be countered by a power crush. I don't know. I just think that Lily, in terms of like trying to defend against her, she's very difficult to stop. You have to be like a god level player to stop her once she gets going.
I do actually believe Lily does need a nerf. Yeah, that's crazy coming from me. I do believe she does need to be nerfed in a couple categories
Hmm.
because some people are just calling for her execution. I'm the only thing I think she needs to be nerfed in is heat. Her heat stuff is a little way too strong. And I do think when she does Feisty Rabbit 3, I do think that should be launch panel. That's the low, like when she does the little jumping twirl in the air and then she does the low afterwards.
Yeah,
I think that should be minus 15. It's minus 13 at the moment because it's a counter hit launcher as well.
yeah.
And I do believe Feisty Rabbit 2, where she does the palm, that's a heat engager, and she can heat rush. It's currently minus 9. I think it should be at least minus 10. So that first and foremost, I do believe she does need to be nerfed. And there is one way that I think should be another nerf I would give to her for her sidestep 4. If you block that, it's minus 2. And she can still risk a back turn mix up. So I do think that's a little cheesy as well. But her other moves that put her into back turn are minus 4 to 5 or minus 4 to minus 6 for the other ones. And that one, she would literally have to use the move. If you block it, then if she's smart, she has to go back to being front turned. You know what I mean? She can't risk going for something if you know how to take your turn back properly. Little controversial subject. Like I can get a little passionate about this. So like, I don't mean like anything like this one. I do feel like the community, okay, she does have the best sidestep. There's no doubt about that. But the community really exaggerates how good her sidestep is. Like, because you said it's as good as Yoshimitsu spin. Like, I'm sorry, I really don't think it's comparable to Yoshimitsu spin. Because Yoshimitsu spin gets him out of like anything. Lily's sidestep doesn't get her out of everything. Most of the time when I hear people complain about her sidestep, even me, like sometimes I'll fight a Lily and they step me, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, how am I getting stepped? And I notice it's because I'm throwing out jabs or moves that are very sidesteppable. Or most people when they talk about how they get stepped, it's usually moves that any other character could have stepped. They throw out moves that anybody could have stepped in that moment. You know what I mean? If you have some moves to show me, I'm gonna lab it myself too sometime because I really want to know. In 8 years of playing Lily, I've only discovered 3 moves that only she can sidestep. A lot of people do like try to exaggerate. Oh yeah, she stepped me in this moment. And I'm like, okay, how did she step you? Were you like -2 and she stepped you? And are you absolutely certain Lily's the only one that could have stepped you in that moment? No other character could have stepped you?
I do relate to the idea that players are doing way too much. Like, I get that Yoshimitsu's really powerful, but people are attacking Yoshimitsu for reasons that don't make him powerful. If you listen to like what a pro thinks is powerful about Yoshimitsu, they talk about combo damage, they talk about Oki, they talk about heat, but then you'll have like people out there like talking about Yoshimitsu's like Hopni, like his Hopni has operated the same way for like 20 years. That is not why the character's top tier in Tekken 8. So I do agree, like to a certain extent, that also happens with other characters where people are just latching on to these random ideas about the character, and then you look at Twitter or whatever, and it gets like 1,000 likes, and you're like, oh my god, they're gonna
Yeah.
kill my character. They are gonna kill. But so I agree. This is all. It may not be a Lily thing. The same way that the Flash is doing the same thing that it's always have done, but this game is so faster, so he's flashing more. It may be the same thing with Lily, where she's stepping the same way, but this game is so aggressive and all of these attacks have forward motion. And when you have a character moving left or right and there's forward motion involved, that will allow Lily to get behind. That the same thing happened in Tekken 7. Like if someone does like Yoshimitsu's 443, it's a kick where he flies in the air. Like if you step Yoshimitsu in any game, you're gonna get behind him. And with all of these moves having so much forward movement, maybe that's why Lily is getting. I don't know if that's the case, but I can also see how like it's how aggressive this game is what's allowing Lily to step greater than what she was. But then also, with that being the case, people say, oh, well, this game is different and these moves need to be nerfed like accordingly, right? Yes, the Flash is kind of somewhat operating the same way, but this game is different. So nerf it to fit this game. And if that's the, thing that we want to go by, then Lily Sidestep would kind of like apply to that as well.
Well, the thing
What's
is,
your thoughts?
sorry to cut you off on that, but the thing is that like the Flash was already nerfed in this game.
Yeah.
People don't seem to see.
Yeah.
It was already. It doesn't even launch when you don't even have a sword out anymore, or when you have your sword out. Sorry. Well, that was the case, right?
Yeah, you're right. Like when Yoshimitsu had his sword out in Tekken 7, he would launch with the Flash. But also with Tekken 8, at the start of this game, they nerfed the range. So the range that he used to have in Tekken 7 no longer exists. He now has a nerfed range in comparison to 7, and also nerf tracking in comparison to 7. And then also the healing is nerfed. So they hit the. I'm not saying they shouldn't hit the Flash, but I'm just saying like they nerfed the move like 5 times already. Like
No, but in terms of Lily, what I will say about this though is, ironically, her sidestep was better in the other Tekken games than it is in Tekken 8. Not that it was actually better. It's just everyone else's sidestep was worse. So because they buffed sidestepping across the board in Tekken 8, they didn't really hit Lily's sidestep too much in this game. So in the other Tekken's games, she was actually stepping other things more than other characters could. So I would say in that sense, her sidestep was, I guess, quote unquote nerfed. But I digress.
what do you think Lily's weaknesses are? Like what are you looking for to be buff?
Oh no, like I'm perfectly fine with what she is. I'm actually kind of scared when they say they're gonna give new moves in season 2 because I'm like I don't want any new moves. Thank you, Harada, though, but I don't want any new moves. I'm fine with it. Yeah, no. In terms of Lily's weaknesses, one thing people do not believe me on. I kid you not. There is not much reason to duck against Lily if she's front turned. If she's back turned, you do have more reason to duck. But front turn, her lows are not the hardest hitting, except for 444, which is actually reactable offline because it's 23 frames. And on top of it all, a lot of people, because I'm baffled when people tell me this, a lot of people tell me they feel pressured by Lily, and I'm like, what exactly are you pressured by? She only has 3 moves that are plus on block, which are usable. She has more moves, but only 3 of those moves are actually usable.
You know what I think it is about the pressure? What I noticed about Lily is that Lily jumps at you. Like I don't know the inputs, but she has that. I think it's like a
The front
mid.
flip?
It's like a mid high, like a heat engage. The second hit is a heat engager. Like so, whenever you create space with Lily, she does that move to like if you step, if you do this, you get hit. And
The 3+4, where she goes elegant, where she like twirls in the air. The
yeah,
homing
that
move,
one.
right?
That one is a lot of, but also to be fair, even though that one has a lot of range and I think it tracks a little bit, it's not that far off. It's like a better demon paw. That's what I would describe it as.
Mm.
It's like a better demon paw.
The thing is, it's really slow. It's also 24 frame startup, and it's a lot of people don't notice, but a lot of people think it's plus, but it's actually -2 on block. And yeah, it is a homing move. It doesn't distract. It's actually homing, but it's all highs. It's not mid high.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and it's just things like that because when I try to, because I barely throw out Gun like at the super high level because usually people duck it on reaction, so I'm literally afraid to throw that out. And sometimes I use it from like when I'm not gonna say like close to you, but not too close to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes I get jabbed out of it because it's so slow. So the move, I'm not saying the move is weak, but the move does have its fair share of problems. You know what I mean?
I was reading a comment in the chat. This says, "What's Lily's low that reaches mad far? Is it down three?" Oh yeah, yeah. So there was a move on Twitter that people were talking about with Lily, and it was down three, and it reached like it had a greater range than Demon Paw. And I made a short about this, and I was just highlighting how pro players were saying like the move is super OP. It's because the Lily players was upset at me. That short, they were hot.
Say this about the move. It does only 14 damage because they did nerf it in one of the last patch where they touched Lily. It
Mhm.
only does 14 damage. It's only +1 on hits, and it doesn't even force crouch. And she doesn't even evade highs when she's doing it. So compared to the other lows that do stuff like that in the game. Like, look at, I mean, I know this character's busted, but look at Nina's down back three. If you hate Lily's down three, look at Nina's down back three. Look at Asuka's down back three. Look at Fang's low where I don't know the input, but the low where he does like a split and he just hits your leg. You know, I know we're talking about Lily, and I don't want to bring in other characters into this, but I'm like, if you hate that down three with Lily, then you're gonna hate like all those other lows when Kikurin won Evo.
Yeah,
And remember how busted she was at that time?
yeah.
Like all those nerfs they gave her were completely justified. The only one where I was just like, why? Was when they nerfed down three, when they nerfed the damage on it from 17 to 14. I'm like, bro, that was a literal slap to my face.
Is
But
that
yeah.
a good poke, or is that like not a good poke? Like how would
Oh
that?
yeah, no, it's a very good thing. And I'm not saying I wanted to have this, but it's one of those lows, those quick, cheeky lows that don't even have high evasion. So
Yeah, and there's no follow ups to it or nothing. It's just that one kick.
no follow-ups. Yeah.
I don't know how much you on Twitter you are, but on Twitter, Lily is like they be on her line. Do you feel like Lily gets unnecessary like hate? Do you feel like she's like picked on for just like whatever reason?
Oh yes, 100%. A lot of people like made these points like, oh, they hate Lily the character, like just the character, not the playstyle, but the character.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, fair enough. If you hate the character, like I can't dispute that. But a lot of people say like she ruined Asuka's character. I'm like, no, she didn't ruin Asuka's character. That was Harada. Lily doesn't write the story. Harada could have introduced Lily as her rival and still kept Asuka relevant to the story. So don't blame Lily for that one.
As a Lily player, who do you think is the most carried in the game? Because I think it goes Alyssa, Zhao Yu, Lily. Well, what's your ideas? Most carried.
The Eddie is most carried because of that bot.
Hmm.
The thing is, in my opinion, what carries people is gimmicks that people just don't know how to deal with. Because a lot of people used to say Dragonov is carried, but I'm like, no, even though he's one of the best characters in the game, he's way too straightforward to be carried. And to me, holy crap, King, like the amount of power crushes these guys spam at all ranks, well, not really all ranks, but like at any level, and it works. Like
Yeah.
I think muscle armor is the best armor move in the game.
Mhm.
Eddie, obviously, people just can't really deal with the 50-50 nonsense, and he is pretty rewarding on hit, but obviously it's a risk reward as well. And Zafina as well, because a lot of people just don't know how to deal with that.